you ever find yourself in a dark place, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, those words are prayer enough. Always have your way in me. And that's my prayer for you this morning as well, too, for all of us. It was a very interesting trip for me on many levels, seeing and doing things, as you can see, that I've never done before. And also, it was a very powerful time for me to reconnect with God. I hadn't lost God, and God hadn't lost me. But sometimes there's an ordinariness that creeps into relationships. It's kind of what we call the blight of ennui, where it's like, oh, yes, it's church on Sunday. How wonderful. I went through an amazing experience in my life to make a reconnection, and I want to share that with you today and talk about that possibility in you as well. It's really about love, and it's about falling in love and being in love. So I did some research about love, and of course the question is, are you in love? And if you're not sure, I did research, though I didn't really need to, and I found out there are some very interesting signs that you can use to tell about yourself being in love. The first one is that you see the beloved everywhere. I mean, they're just everywhere in your life. I mean, you see the pictures on the walls. They're in your mind, in your heart. Have you ever bought a new car? And as soon as you start driving on the freeway, you see that car everywhere. And it was not there last week. But now everybody has one. Isn't that nice? But I had mine first. I mean, you can just go on and on. Sometimes when you fall in love, it just seems like you begin to see them more. But not only just see them, but you begin to look into their eyes more deeply than you've ever looked at anyone else's eyes. You may be kind of an eye avoider, but all of a sudden when you're in love, it's... yeah, you understand that? That's really important. So that's a sign. Second sign is euphoria. I love it that when you're in love, your house can burn down, your car can wreck, you can be audited by the IRS, and oh, it's all okay. Because you're in love. When you're in love, nothing matters. Isn't that right? Doesn't that happen to you? It's like you're floating on air and nothing happens. In the recovery movement, when people first fall in love with recovery and they get introduced to God and they fall in love with God, they go through a period of time we call the pink cloud, which is, oh yeah, my life's a wreck, and my wife left me, my husband left me, my dog left me, my cat, I lost my job, but you know, I'm sober, and it's really great. And there's just like this pink cloud thing that happens that is all euphoria that comes from being in love. And I know you know that. At least you've known it at least once. And the last one is you're always thinking about them. I came across research that said that people who are falling in love think about each other 80% of the time, which is why when you're in love, no work gets done. Because it's very hard to focus. I mean, you got work, but you have to think about your beloved, and then you got to check your phone every 5 seconds to see if he texted you or she texted you. Make sure that's all going on, because they're in your thoughts and minds all the time. Well, that's what being in love is about, at least part of what being in love is about. The seed I want to plant to you today is this. It's a very important question. Are you in love with God? Can you be? And should you be? I don't want to try and describe God for you. I'm not going to say give any name or form to God. You can do that for yourself. But what I would like to encourage you to do is to have an absolute, vibrant, living relationship with God, a loving and amazing relationship with God. And the reason I think that is so important for all of us right now, as I was trying to think about what am I going to talk about when I come back, is that we as a spiritual community in a church stand on the brink of a new time in this church. We've had an amazing 9 years. We've accomplished things that no other Unity church in the entire movement has accomplished. And we are still accomplishing those things. It's amazing. But it's not about the accomplishments. It's about the energy that brought that forth. You understand that? It's not about the outcomes. It's about the right action at the right time. And we've been doing that. But I believe and feel that we are standing on the brink of something new and exciting. Something that is profoundly deep and profoundly powerful that will not only impact our community in Honolulu, but I absolutely believe that we are going to have impact on the entire world. We here in this little church. And I mean little because there's unity churches with thousands of people in them. But it won't be long until there's 100,000 people and more watching us on live stream.
Amen.
In Germany alone. But I feel it's important when I think about, well, what am I going to talk about to help make that important? There's only one thing that's really important, and that has to do with the relationship that each and every one of us has with God. It's not about money. It's not about the activities. It's not about the governance of the church. It's not about the speakers. It is about each and every one of us and how much we love God, because if we were all in love with God, there would be nothing we could not do. Nothing. So I want you to think about that. Jesus said when he was asked what is the most important commandment in the world, he gave this answer. This is from the Message Bible. He said, love the Lord your God with all your passion, prayer, and intelligence. And that sounds like being in love to me. It's amazing that he said that. And it's difficult because I want to go through these same things of being in love. How can you see God everywhere? Because some things aren't pretty. Some people aren't attractive. And I can't believe you wore that to church, and all those kind of things. So I have a little 2-word mantra that'll help you. But first you say, well, wait a minute. Falling in love is a choice of the heart. I can't decide that. That's not true. The heart, it can be trained. The heart can be guided. I know this. When I was younger, I had gymnophobia. I wouldn't even go in the gym. I hated gyms. Oh, they scared me to death. And then I decided in my head I was not going to live that way, that I needed it, I was going to go, and there it is. And so I started, and it wasn't really kind of, perfect at beginning. But now I love the gym. When I don't go to the gym, I feel bad. I miss the gym. And it's not because the gym came up to me and said, oh, come on, buddy, let's be friends. We can work it out. We'll try to fix it out. Come on, give me a try. One more try. It wasn't like that. It was I decided that the gym and I were going to be friends. You can decide that you and God are going to have a powerful, loving relationship. You can decide that. Now, I know a lot of people feel like they've been on the first date with God forever. It's very awkward. Don't quite know what to talk about. Or many had that kind of relationship that we used to call them as a Baptist church, the Brill Cream Christians. It's a little dabble, do you? Or the Alka-Seltzer ones, pop, pop, fizz, fizz, and it's all over. How many first dates do we want with God? When are we going to get down to the serious talk? And I mean an active, loving relationship, because a lot of our relationship with God is, well, first of all, I want to tell you everything I want, and then I'm going to complain to you about all these other people, and just say, thanks, by the way, thanks. A lot of people are in relationships like that. Here's what I want. Let me complain. Good night, dear. That's not the kind of passionate, loving relationship that's going to change the world, change any of us, or change anything. We can change. How can you see the beloved everywhere? Simple, 2 words. 2 words. You can memorize this. You have to write it down. That's God. Okay, try it. That's God. One more time. That's God. Well, how does that work? Well, okay, you're on the beach and you see these beautiful trees and palm trees and all the surfers and everything, and you say, oh, this is so beautiful. And then what are you supposed to say? That's God. And then you go up into the mountains in Nepal and you look at all the beautiful, majestic mountains and the clouds and everything. And it's so beautiful. And then you say, that's God. And then the policeman comes up to you because you parked illegally and he's got a ticket in his hand and he's looking at you like this. And then what are you going to say? That's God. It's perfectly okay to say that's God with clenched teeth. That's God. Or even with a question mark. That's God? Because that's how you can begin to see God all the time. Declare everything to be that. Declare that you see it. Even if you don't see it, the blessing is there somewhere. You got to find it. You got to dig for it. You got to ask for guidance to see it. But it is guaranteed to be there. That's how you can begin to fall in love, when everything and everyone is God. Those obnoxious people. Stop elbowing your neighbor, please. Those obnoxious people that live next door to you or underneath you or behind you or above you or beyond you, or who are your in-laws or whatever. We've got to stop seeing them as something other than God. That's how we change the world. When I was in Colorado, Well, first of all, I want to share with you a quote from one of my favorite gurus. He is one of the greatest saints in all of India. His name is Sri Ramana Maharishi. He said, all are seeing God always, but they do not know it. Right this very minute, if you look around, you're seeing God everywhere. That's how you can begin to fall in love with the beloved. See God everywhere. When I was in Colorado, they had these amazing trees called aspens, quaking aspens. You ever heard of them? Well, you look at them and their leaves just shimmer and they're just alive and they're just so beautiful. This is a little bit of what they look like. See, look how they shimmer and they're all over everywhere. And it looks like the mountainside is alive and it's just absolutely fantastic. But here's the truth, folks. Those trees aren't doing anything. Those trees are doing nothing. It is the wind that is moving those leaves. And the wind is the spirit and the energy and the love of God. In fact, in the Hebrew Bible, the word is pronounced ruach, and it means spirit, it means wind, and it means breath. So whenever you read in the Bible, in the Hebrew Bible, the breath of God or the Spirit of God or the winds blow here, it's all the same word. Those movements are there. And all of the movements in our life and all of the movements in the lives of people who irritate us the most deeply and all the movements that are happening in the world, those things aren't just happening. They are happening because a powerful and a mighty wind is blowing through this earth. We may not know the pattern in which it's going. We may not know the reason that it's stirring up what it's stirring up. But those things are all there. And that's why we can say, that's God. That's God. The other thing is the euphoria. Well, gee, if I'm going to be in a relationship with God, because most of us aren't in very good contact with God, I want to share with you a writing from a man in the Hebrew Bible named David. He was a man that was called a man after the heart of God. He wrote all the beautiful Psalms that we love, and this is one that he wrote. My choice is you, God, first and only. And now I find I'm your choice. Day and night, I'll stick with God. I've got a good thing going and I'm not letting go. I'm happy from the inside out and from the outside in. Now, who doesn't want to be happy from the inside out and the outside in? I really want you to raise your hand because we have therapists here. You didn't quite understand me. Who doesn't want to be happy from the outside out and the inside in? Because we have therapists standing by. You. Okay, John, you can see him. Okay. We got your number, buddy. We're going to help you. You're going to be happy one way or t'other. If you ask, well, why would I want to be in a relationship with God? Well, this is why. This is David talking about God and his relationship with God. And who doesn't want that? Then the last one is always thinking of the beloved, and that's a hard one. Because, I'm the original ADHD kid. A desire for heavenly dancing. It's hard for me to focus on. What was I saying? So during the summer, I got this idea, and I created a Twitter account called God All the Time. And what happens is, in my pocket, my phone will go off every hour on the hour from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. And it's a little message that says, time to think about God. Oh, okay, good. Thank you very much. Go about my business. All of a sudden, an hour later, oh, don't forget to think about God. Oh, I forgot. Oh, put it in there. This goes on hour after hour, and it's been doing this for days. And let me tell you something. You get conditioned. It changes everything. I now anticipate when the hour comes, like, oh boy, it's coming. There's going to be a little reminder for me to think about God. And the next thing you know, I'm thinking about God a lot. So if you want to know how to think about God a lot, that's one thing. I'm going to tell you the address next week. Paramahansa, yeah, just a teaser. It's just a tease. Paramahansa Yogananda is one of my favorite teachers in the world, and he said, in this recipe for spiritual enlightenment and spiritual growth and oneness with God, he said, read a little, meditate more, and think about God all the time. I was doing the first two, but it was the last one that changed my life. And I know it's hard. Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your passion, your prayer, your intelligence. I gave that for you in a little card as an affirmation today, but I changed one word. It says, I love the Lord my God with all my passion, my intelligence, my prayer and intelligence. And I'm going to invite you to say this with me. Pull it out if you've got one. If you're not, we have some more we can give you from the office. It says, I love the Lord my God with all my passion, prayer, and intelligence. Can you say that with me? Can you make that commitment? Let's try it. I love the Lord my God with all my passion, prayer, and intelligence. Now that this is difficult for you, just try a little bit. Just do whatever much you think you can. Say, well, okay, I'll try for a week or two and see what happens. Go ahead. We don't tell people what to do in Unity. We make a suggestion of something that we know will change your life. Would you say this with me one more time, please? I love the Lord my God with all my passion, prayer, and intelligence. I want to ask you to think back to a time when you were really in love with God. Maybe it was when you first came to Unity, or maybe as a child in the church of your family. There was a time when you really loved God. And like all relationships, things can get tired, stale, or old. I want you to know, in this moment, today, from this time on, you can rebuild that. God has not left. And you are the one who decides. I can still remember that wonderful feeling back when I first got to know you. It seemed the world was mine. I had joy, I had sunshine, but that's all just a memory anymore. Seems I took my eyes off you, Lord, but I don't want this callous feeling anymore. Bring back the new again. I want to see you again. Bring back the way it was when we began. It wasn't long ago when my heart was glowing and every new day was a challenge. But indifference made me cold, made things stale, made them old. Now I lost the happy song I used to sing. Looks like I forgot the most important thing. Oh, please bring back the way it was before. Bring back the new again. I want to see again. Bring back the way it was when we began. When did I lose the road? And when did I lose the glow? And where did the wonder go? Bring back the new again. Do you want that new back? If you feel like it's been gone for a while, this is a chance to do it. The door to your heart opens on the inside. Only you can do it. In this time of meditation, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes with me for a few moments. Take a deep breath. And to understand that God is waiting right there. Behold, standing at the door and knocking. If you want to try having a more deep and profound relationship with God, if you want to try to begin to fall in love with God, then this is the time to make that commitment. Say, I'm willing. This is something I want. I want to have joy from the inside out. I want to have a love that no matter what happens to me in my life, everything is wonderful. I want to see God everywhere. In these quiet moments, those are the things you can say. And God is waiting and wants to be with you in the sacred and holy silence.